Hello, Bill.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm glad you refer to it in the present tense, you see, because we're usually referred to as ex-goodies, or I'm referred to as ex-goodies, wildlife person and ex-goodies, which I suppose we are, but I'm beginning to think we're still goodies or something, the way it's been going these last couple of weeks.
Well, yeah. But I was doing a little bit of I'll call it research a bit earlier on this morning. I actually watched Goodies Rule OK.
And, that's research, yeah.
And you were... What planet were you on?
It's not a bad question, I have to admit. I sometimes, we used to get occasionally asked, I remember being asked, I hope that wasn't your implication, but being asked, so what were you on at the time, meaning what drugs were we taking? This was in a rather hip jazz club in Jersey, I might add, but, for God's sake, no, you have to be absolutely stone cold, sober and compos mentis to do things as complicated. But I must admit, when I look back at them, I occasionally ask myself the same question, and you sort of think, especially at the end of a program, and I think, how do we get to there? We started off with being tramps in London town, and then we ended up with Giant Dougal. How did we get there? But there is a strange logic. I think what some critics said, there is a logic there. We have our own kind of logic. It doesn't just happen. It's not completely surreal in that sense,
Well, that programme ended up with a puppet government, and
yes.
I think that was a kind of satire on, well, not so much the government at the time and the government now, possibly. Because
well, it is, isn't it? It's funny how often that sort of thing seems to work, doesn't it? Sort of watching some of those programmes, a few people have commented on this. They say, well, obviously there is a 70s air to some of them. There's a few flared trousers around and glam rock and things like that. But nevertheless, even things which were topically satirical at the time, quite a lot of them actually still apply, or at least apply, only the names have changed, as it were, but the syndrome's still there.
Well, you're well ahead of your time as well, weren't you, with the Goodies? I don't think you realised it at the time, but...
I suppose you don't. Actually, you do sometimes. You think, nah, we're ahead of our time. We'll get this in 20 years' time.
Right, well, we'll go back to the job in hand, Bill. The Goodies, of course, they were a major TV programme, but also you were a major chart act as well. Yeah,
I suppose so. We had about 5 top 20 records, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Music was always a basic part of the Goodies programmes, wasn't it? You also
yes, it was. I mean, it was, I guess that was my doing, really, but with the entire agreement of the other two, though heaven knows what would have happened if they hadn't agreed with me. But that was my department. And what I was absolutely determined to get away from was the sort of cliche comedy music that had been on every comedy on TV before that, which was sort of, it was sort of, oh, listen, funny music, here's something funny happening, and it'd be sort of lots of bassoons and flutes and wah, trumpets and all this sort of thing, and it was a real, and that is so twee and sort of out of date. It could be any sitcom for the last 30 years to have the same sort of music on. And so I was determined that the music in the show would be as modern, for want of a better word, as the rest of the show was, would be up to date. So I had a whale of a time sort of doing all the background music. I would write songs, or a song, and then we recorded with an extremely good band. We had some very good people in. And the sessions would go on for days sometimes because we never quite knew how much music we were going to need. So, we'd sing the song once and then say, okay, 3 choruses of guitar solo, then I'll do it again, then keyboard solo, and so on and so forth. So we had these extended versions. There was lots of it lying around, real bootleg stuff, but I have no idea where it is, unfortunately. A few people have asked about it.
What a pity. It would make a great CD, wouldn't it?
Well, it might do, because there were some really, really good musicians on that, and some, people who played with various name bands and so on and so forth, and sometimes there was tremendous stuff on that, yeah.
You had a good funky beat going there. I mean, I'm thinking especially about the earlier episodes, such as, Goodies and the Beanstalk comes to mind.
Yeah.
And there's a sort of funky sort of Starsky and Hutch sort of music.
Yes, it's interesting to think what he did. Graham Garden once actually made a very, very, very good comment actually. He said, you know, he was asked about the music, and I always expect Tim and Graham to be a little bit sarcastic, but at the same time deeply grateful that it was my doing that got us on Top of the Pops and things. But he said there was something about the music which was instantly goodies. And you couldn't say that about most comedy shows. They didn't have sound to them like that. He said, you know, you would be in another room and you could hear that sort of slightly country rock type feel going on. And as you said, slowness and with sort of funky undertones and so on. And you would know, oh, that's goodies music. There was such a thing as goodies music in that sense, I think, definitely.
Yeah. We've come across a rather risque tune from 1974, and it's Father Christmas, Do Not Touch Me. This was a big hit.
Well, I think I'm not sure that wasn't it a B-side of something else?
That's rather weird, because there's some copies of the record say that it's the B-side and others say it's the A-side. I think what happened was...
maybe we said double A-side. We had this strange phrase in those days when you couldn't make up your mind. The record company said, we make it a double A-side and leave it to the radios to sort of, you know, radio disc jockeys or whatever, to sort out which one they prefer. And I think we probably tried that.
And the other side, of course, was the Inbetweenies, wasn't it?
Yes. What a memory. Good Lord, that's joking. Yeah, you see, that was our best-selling record. It was the first record we made. And it came out just before Christmas, which meant almost inevitably it was going to sell more than anything else. It actually sold more, I think, than the Funky Gibbon, but the Funky Gibbon is definitely, in a sense, much more of a hit, insofar as people remember that. But on the B-side, yes, that's typical goodies behaviour, I'm afraid, in those days, where we put something acceptable and broadcastable on the A-side and something absolutely disgraceful on the B-side. There's more than one of those.
I wouldn't say it was absolutely disgraceful.
Well, you know, a bit naughty.
Yes, it was a bit naughty in a kind of, I don't know, end of the pier Blackpool sort of.
Yeah, no, I'd think of it more as backseat of the rugby club coach, which is certainly where I first heard the original version of the "Oh Sir Jasper, Do Not Touch Me," which was one of those things that the rugby team sang to cheer themselves up when we'd just been beaten again. You know?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those, you know, along with Eskimo Now and one or two others I can't remember.
Bill, I don't know about such things. I'm an innocent young lad.
Oh, you might. I bet you play football anyway. You're from up north, aren't you? You don't play. It's rugby union.
Rugby union, yeah.
Mind you, I'm from up north, but I'd moved to Birmingham by then. But you're a league man, I should imagine. Well, do you know what I'm talking about then?
We're sidetracking a bit here. Let's get back to the record.
You don't want your listeners to know of your CD rugby playing past.
No, I don't know. I'm blushing here. Right, back to the record.
All right.
Right. Father Christmas, Do Not Touch Me. And I think we'll play the other side as well, since it was a double A side.
Yeah, go on.
Should we? Go on then.
Not very Christmassy.
No, it doesn't matter.
we know that our time will come.
You're all getting older each day. Soon we'll be hearing you say, too old to be a teenager, too young to be a mother's pet. Are we just the in-betweenies everyone tries to forget? Too old to be a teenager, too young to be a mother's pet. Are we just the in-betweenies everyone tries to forget? Too old to be a teenager, too young to be a mother's pet. Are we just the in-betweenies everyone tries to forget? Too old to be a teenager, too young to be a mother's pet. Are we? Goodies, goody, goody, yum, yum.
Hi there, this is Bill Oddie speaking, and you are listening to the 100 top Christmas hits of all time. And would you believe, I think I've got a couple of mine in there.
Goodies, goody, goody, yum, yum, goodies. At 12 o'clock on Christmas Eve, she tiptoed up the stairs. She stood beneath the mistletoe and combed her silken hair. Then Santa Claus slipped down the flue and caught her unawares. And this is what she said. Oh, Father Christmas, do not touch me. Father Christmas, do not touch me. Father Christmas, do not touch me. As she stood beneath the mistletoe.
Oh, me name is Father Christmas.
He informed her as he met her. She said,
Good grief, it's 7 years since I sent you a letter.
he said,
I can't stand little girls. Bigger ones are better.
and this is what she said. Oh, Father Christmas, do not touch me. Father Christmas, do not touch me. Father Christmas, do not touch me. As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father Christmas, do not touch. Father Christmas, do not touch. Father Christmas, do not touch. As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father Christmas, do not. Father Christmas, do not. Father Christmas, do not. As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father Christmas, do. Father Christmas, do. Father Christmas, do. As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father Christmas. Father Christmas. Father Christmas. As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father. 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 As she stood beneath the mistletoe. Father. Father. As she stood beneath the mistletoe, he's a most immoral sound.